So I'm here, finally get to meet
You supposed to shake hands?
Yeah, absolutely. Pastor Keith Battle.
Yes, sir.
Been following you for a long time. I'm a member of First Baptist Church Glenarden.
Yeah.
Pastor Jenkins.
Of course.
So when I was working in corporate America, I used to look at all of his messages when I would miss church because I was doing a brunch on Sunday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So in YouTube, they show you suggested things, and yours started popping up. And I'm like, let me check this guy out. First message I listened to resonated on me, so I've been listening to all of your messages ever since then. A lot of people write me and they say, that's my pastor, or I needed to hear that today.
That's good.
Your style of preaching is a lot different than the traditional style of preaching.
Yeah.
My father was a pastor. He passed away December 2016. But Joseph Hall.
Okay.
He actually got ordained with Jenkins.
Okay.
He said Jenkins was 15 and he was a little bit older.
Okay.
So the style of preaching that you preach is a lot different than most of the churches that I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Was that like something that you changed over time and evolved, or was that just your style from initially in the beginning?
That's a great question. I didn't really grow up in church. The first time I really went, I was about 14, 15 years old. So I wouldn't call that growing up in church. My mom started going when I was 14. She made me go. Church. I went to the First Baptist Church in Highland Park. And every now and then I would hear a preacher that was like, wow. Because I couldn't understand what they were saying.
Right.
It seemed like they would talk. They would go back in time, like,
right.
It was like, where are y'all talking about, man?
Yeah.
And it was King James, so it was like, but when I felt like I was supposed to do it, like I felt called to do it, I would mimic those guys. Like I would be talking like this, then I would go up in the pulpit and say, turning your Bibles. Because that's what I heard, right? And then one day, it's a true story. So one day I was at this church and something happened while I was doing that. It was only my second time preaching out, and there was a lady on the front row, and she was staring at me like she was just gritting on me, like she wasn't happy that I was speaking, and it shook me, like to my core. I was scared, right? And I remember I had developed this habit. If anybody watches me speak a lot, I clap when I talk, like this, right? That's the first time I did that. Like I was just trying to shake myself out of that, like what I was distracted by. And I don't know if it was like magic or something, but that was one of the moments where I just turned back into Fairmont Heights, like suddenly.
Yeah.
And I just started talking like me, like this.
Right.
And I started using analogies like this, like this is how this is the lens through which I see the scriptures. Like, through my life, through my community, through my social environment. And so that's kind of how, and that worked for me. It's not no disrespect to how other people do it or to history and our ancestors and the way they did it. It's just, that became who I was and my voice, and so I guess that was an evolution. It was a quick one, but I feel most comfortable just being myself. That's really who I am.
When you clap, what did that lady do though?
So no, it wasn't. She stayed like that the whole time. In fact, I told the pastor afterwards about who it was, and he gave me the scripture. He says, "Never be afraid of their faces." But it was a blessing in disguise because I didn't know what she was mad about, right? I still don't know, but what it did was it shook me. Like I'm not gonna be able to finish this in this preacher voice. Like like maybe she don't like that or whatever. I don't know, but I just remember that being a transforming moment for me.
You would go home, and on Sundays, and your mom would be there for Sunday dinner. And she would always say, "That's my pastor."
That was tough.
Imagine how that really feels, though. Wow. That the person who raised you now looks up to you. I mean, even now, like I see my mom is so proud of me, with all these recipe books and coming. But, there was a point in time, that I've done things that she was very disappointed and very embarrassed about.
I don't think you can't over celebrate a child. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think as fathers, especially with sons, I know my tendency is to be hard on my boys because I know it's rough out here. You got to work, and you ain't gonna be able to break these rules. You don't follow directions, you get pulled over, you could be dead. So, but what helped me more than being somebody being hard on me was somebody being encouraging.
Right.
So I'm actually, as you say that right now, it's convicting to me because I don't do it enough for my own sons, especially. Even my daughter to some extent. Yeah. But I'm really like that with my granddaughter. Yeah. Like I'm all over, oh, look at you, you look amazing. Oh, this is so great.
And it works though.
Yeah. I feel like she's going to be filled up with a lot of self-worth and confidence because of it. Yeah. I can't say that I did a great job of that as a dad. With my own kids. I wish I had done better. And really when my mom started doing that was when I was grown. Like I didn't get that from her. I think we become better parents when we get older.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
And I think that my parents didn't do it growing up, so I make sure I do that for my daughter. So
that's good.
Like if she'll be 4 next week with her, certain things that she does. Daddy, I did this. I'm like, that's amazing. Yeah. Because growing up, I remember specifically, I wanted to be an architect. I'm a chef right now, but I wanted to be an architect when I was like 8, 9 years old. Yeah. And my parents used to say, well, you got a C in math. You can't do that. You can't. So, subconsciously, I talked myself mentally out of becoming that,
You can remember that,
I remember it vividly.
That's how profound it was. How did it impact you in the moment? Like, was it something you were hoping they didn't say, you wish they hadn't said, or was it something like, yeah, I can't do that?
I literally told myself at that point in time I couldn't be it.
Because of what they said.
Because of what they said.
If they had said, sure, you can do it. Just work on your math.
I probably would have pushed even further towards doing it because, my fixation was on erector sets and, things of that nature. Yeah. So, I like to build and draw. I was really good at that. Yeah. But when they told me I couldn't be it, I started saying, okay, I got to find something else. Yeah. So that's when I said, okay, I like forensics because I like to think what transpired at this point in time and this, So I started watching even like Forensic Files and other shows like that. But, I was talked out of being an architect.
Yeah. But it shows the power of words from our parents.
Absolutely.
And we who are parents, like, just be careful. It's better to not say anything than to say something hurtful.
Absolutely. Yeah. I got a lot of friends who are engaged and, who are newlyweds and, people who have been married. I'm 5 years in. I have people, like I said, 1 year in, a couple months in. What piece of advice could you give them being that you all just celebrated your anniversary?
30th,
30, my goodness. Congratulations on that. What piece of advice could you give the gentleman to a long-lasting marriage?
I think we have plans. We have so many plans for our life, right? We have like a business plan, and people have a fitness plan, and people have a financial plan, right? And they even have a family plan, like we're gonna have kids in our first 5 years. We're gonna have our kids by the time we're X age, and then we're gonna get them through school. And I think planning is great. Absolutely. What a lot of people don't have is a marital relationship plan. Right. We just find a person. Right. And then we think if I got the right person, we'll vibe and we'll, it'll evolve and we'll continue to love each other and support each other. This is my soulmate or whatever. But I'm saying if you don't have a plan and a strategy and have habits like that keep the relationship strong, it'll evaporate just like anything else. And I think what many people don't have is a relationship intimacy plan that includes fun things like we're gonna always date each other. Right. Or we're gonna always do little getaways. Even if the getaway is to your mother's house in Texas. Yeah. And what I find is most relationships are trying to survive on rhythms and vibe and spontaneity instead of systems and habits. Right. Because we feel like it's not genuine love if it's structured. And I'm saying anything that's going to work is going to require, like you can't be the great chef that you are, and provide the great service that you provide without a structure and a plan.
Absolutely.
Now you better have them green peppers already purchased and cleaned and chopped. And you see what I'm saying? Yeah. There's a system for everything. You are successful because of your system and your allegiance to it, right? And I'm saying successful marriages have something similar. Yeah. They got the right tools and they're successful because they consistently use them. So I would say as an advice is get a marriage plan. Don't expect it to atrophy. Right. Expect it to fade without the system. Right. Expect us to get out of shape if we don't work out, and you know what I mean? You can expect that, right? It might take longer. Right. Because you got a lot of time in, but stop the system and watch what happens, right?
Nah, for sure.
And this is going to be out there for some people. I actually believe that when a husband and wife start having children, that husband needs to be thinking strategically, how can I make enough money to replace her salary so she can be home with the kids before they start school, so that her full-time job is taking care of the child, so that she didn't have a full-time job, then come home and take care of the child, then have no energy left for the husband. I think strategically we got to free a woman up,
right.
because that's a bigger load on them. So I would just say that's part of the family plan. Like, when is the best time to have children? Because every child is a blessing, but it's also a burden and responsibility.
Absolutely.
So if you open up a boutique, or if you start a restaurant, or if you write another book, every blessing that God gives you takes away your time and energy.
Sure does.
And it ain't like you can freeze time. Like, okay, I'm gonna need 4 hours to work on this book. And everything, and it's gonna be 1 o'clock when I start, it's gonna be 1 o'clock when I'm finished, so I can still go on my way. Nah, it's gonna be 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So every blessing requires some kind of boundary to say, don't let me lose my marriage in this. And I say the thing that happens the most with women with is the kids.
Yeah.
Basically, I was sliding down the totem pole of a priority. And now in hindsight, I realized if my wife didn't give everything she had to the kids, they wouldn't have made it. The problem is we put so much energy in making sure they go to the right schools, making sure they have the right, if they want to play sports, we get in their cleats, we get in their gear, and we add all the practices. And I'm saying our whole world begins to revolve around that kid. The biggest problem with these kids is they're so bored, and you have to have so much to entertain them. Like, it's a different energy now. Like, they wear you out, man.
Nah, seriously.
Like, I mean, I don't know what's wrong with them. But it's like something wrong with these kids now, because you know, when I was a kid, we didn't have all that. You just had to you would do make believe stuff.
Yeah. Well, when I was younger, I'd go outside. When you was young, you probably can go outside, take football.
Nobody go outside no more.
Nobody go outside no more. I don't see nobody riding bikes, scooters, nothing.
We play a game that makes us think we outside.
Yeah. No, I said it.
Yeah, that's the reality, which puts more pressure on parents to observe and entertain. Think about this: the way parents hover over our kids. We used to get sent outside.
Yeah.
Like, there was a trust in the neighborhood and the environment where you could go outside and play. What parent has a child outside playing that ain't out there with them? We have a generation that's not built to struggle. They're not built for the struggle.
And social media, I feel like, is kind of a partial blame for that, because when you see other people who are 2021 painting this image that everything is so perfect, because you know you can take your life over picture after picture and make things look more glamorous than what's really going on. You know.
So instead of a successful entrepreneur like yourself posting a picture, or like me or whoever it may be posting a picture of us in our element, nice car, nice house, and we with our kids and family beside the poolside, maybe we should have in a caption, 14-hour days, stress management, sleepless nights, sometimes a strange relationship, miss a lot of time with my kids. You know, how about saying, what are some of the costs to have this portrait that makes it look well? Like, we don't work, we don't do nothing, we chilling.
It just make everybody seem like everybody got money. You know? And it's like, come on.
Just like
everybody not rich.
Easy too, right?
You know?
And if somebody starts posting stuff about they're going through a real dark time, people don't tend to, they put praying hands up there. But then they move on to a page where they can be maybe inspired or encouraged. So, but there's no success without struggle. You can't even get to success in the dictionary before we get to struggle.
Absolutely.
And how dare we would never make our children ride on a bus when we have a BMW and a Mercedes and
they getting dropped off at school though.
Door to door. Yeah, with Chick-fil-A on the way.
Yeah, we live in different times.
Yeah, man. What I'm saying is that sacrifice. The only person that's grinding in that situation is the parent. But we got parents who just like the kid is so catered to that by the time they get in the car, the breakfast and the drink is right there in the cup holder and everything is set up for them. And I mean, we do that. It's one thing to do that when somebody's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. But as they get older,
like 13, 14, you going to high school and you getting dropped off there.
You're getting dropped off,
like
and you get
privilege.
And mom, can you pick up my daughter? So when they get out of football practice, they got Gatorade in the car and Subway, and they go in there, and I like my Subway. Can you make sure they put extra whatever? Like it's really the persons that are, and the parents are only saying, just do good in school maybe. But I just think there's there's a blessing in somebody having to work their way through college and work in the kitchen and work in the library and work at Sears at night in the men's department or something, just to get that, $11 an hour to pay for my own whatever books or something. Like I just feel like all of that's missing now. And I think what happened was our progress put us in a position where our kids didn't have to do that, but at what cost to them? I think the cost is now we have 35, 36, 37, 38-year-olds who are still at home who just can't get it together. I think your question is profound. We have to love our children enough to step back and watch them struggle. It's like how eagles learn how to fly.
About the book, that's really what we're here for. Psychology. Why men and women cheat.
Yes.
Clever title. Came up with that by yourself?
Yeah.
What inspired it?
So in 2015, what inspired the book was in 2015 I did a message on it.
Gotcha.
What inspired what equipped me to write it was my own experience. So one, I experienced infidelity personally. Over the 30 years of my marriage, during an 8-month window in my marriage, I was in an inappropriate relationship. It wasn't the whole time, it was off and on, but it was something I was hiding from my wife, right? What I write about in the book is, but also I have is 25 years of counseling married people. And what I found was this pattern that was consistent every time. Like every single time in every single marriage, there's a pattern that leads a man to step out on it. And there's similar, right? And it's always connected to something that we would view as a blessing, a promotion, an opportunity. See, when a man is broke and he's struggling, he can't get his hair cut or whatever, he might still have some gain, but his options are limited. You understand what I'm saying? So now he gets a job, he's fresh all the time, and now he's got a different audience. You're a bad man. You stepped out on your wife, you do some trash. Or vice versa. The woman stepped out, we call it whatever, right? But nobody was getting into what were some of the factors that contributed to the environment that made stepping out an option. Anything you start hiding from your spouse is an indication that I'm crossing lines, right? Let me delete that, right? Right? Or let me erase that text or those conversations I'm hiding, right? So at least I know I'm headed down this road. What is it that I'm looking for over here?
But it's not just sex.
It's not always. I agree. It's not.
It could be an inappropriate conversation.
Yes.
Or, a lunch date.
Yep.
I see this thing: work husband, work wife.
Yes.
The
work spouse is a huge issue.
That's a spooky one though, because they see the person there at work 40, 50 hours a week. They don't see you that much, at home.
That is the most fertile ground for infidelity. A coworker. Just what you said. You see the person as much or more than your spouse. If you've been around the person for an extended period of time, you build a certain level of trust that they're a stable person. Like if you just meet somebody first time on the street, you'd be like, I wonder if she's crazy. I wonder if she got drama. And you've been working with Rhonda for like 2 years now. She's a hard worker. She's a family woman. You kind of know she probably don't have herpes or whatever, right? But you meet Shakrisha, and she might be the bomb physically, but you just met her. So there's some hesitation. But this person you build a rapport with, and then what happens is you start grooming the relationship, see where it goes. You just like throw out something. So what are your hobbies? What do you do? What men do is they throw out the sympathy thing. Stuff at home. It is what it is. It's what it always is.
That's game, though.
That's game. And the woman be like, oh. I wish my husband was. I talk about that in the book, right? That's all game. And I got an audio version of the book where I had some actors actually act out scenes in the book. It's pretty cool for the ADD people that don't like to read. So that's a small plug. You can get the audio version of Psychology. It's really cool. It's got music in it.
It sounds cool.
Yeah.
Have you seen in your studies of counseling individuals, not to say any names or anything, but men admitting, because they always try to paint it out if there's a divorce, the man must have cheated.
Right.
But women do it just as much.
Right.
As maybe you've seen, or have you not seen it as much in women?
And so 3/4 of infidelity is heterosexual, right? So let's do the numbers, right? So if 3/4 of infidelity is heterosexual, that means the man is not cheating with another man.
Correct.
For the most part, he's cheating with another woman. But men are labeled cheaters.
Correct. Okay.
Between the ages of 18 to 29, women are more likely to be unfaithful to their relationships between the ages of 18 to 29.
Wow.
Not sure why.
Yeah.
I think women tend to be, well, I can't just say gender-wise. There's always somebody in the inappropriate relationship that are less careful. You got this person who crosses every I, dots every T, and makes sure that the whole place is sanitized. There will be no evidence that I was here.
Correct.
You got another person that's sloppy, just kind of like leaving stuff open.
Right.
Still leaving email open, forgetting to close up stuff. And some people think that's intentional. When it comes to the workplace spouse, which I'm glad you brought it up, 72% of people in the workplace have admitted to either being involved with another person at work inappropriately or being aware of it. 72% say we know what's going on and we've been involved in it, but only 50% say that they admit it happening. It's because most people are not willing, even on an anonymous survey, to say that they did it. Right? And when you ask a man, like, man, why'd you go back to her? He'll say, because it was easy.
Right.
Because you can go back to that relationship and kind of pick up where you left off.
Right.
You don't have to groom her. Like you meet somebody new and you meet Gail, and you got to start from scratch, see if Gail is interested.
Yeah.
Well, you already know Shaquandra was down for it, for the whole thing. Like y'all was in back of the car, right? In the woods, right?
Yeah.
She down for whatever, right? So what happens is the same kind of emotional pain that led the man or the woman to the inappropriate relationship before happens again. They're unhappy in the marriage, and so kind of know, like, I know who I can call.
I've had inappropriate text conversations with women, and that's me being, 100% honest. Like, I've said things to women that I was wrong. I've had people, bait me in because, let me see if I can try my hand with them, and it's fine, and I've been reprimanded for it.
Yeah. Rightly so. Right.
But rebuilding that trust, I see it doesn't happen overnight. And it gets thrown back in your face.
Yes.
Later on.
Yes. Triggers. Let's call it triggers.
Triggers. I would say, how long? You know where I'm going with
it. Yeah. Apologize again. Say, I'm sorry that I ever did that. And I'm sorry that because I did it, it keeps coming up. But I can assure you that that's not something I'm doing now. So, you just have to reassure a person. And it can go on for years.
That's pretty much what she says, like, I'm seeking validation from
Absolutely.
That won't happen or that isn't happening.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And, I take ownership. I'm like, I was
absolutely.
But you're talking about something from 3-4 years ago.
It can be longer than that.
Yeah.
You're a businessman, right? You run a company. You have streams of income. You're an author. Let's just say you got a business partner, somebody you trusted, somebody you went in with that you trusted with the cash register, trusted with the bag, right? That's trust right there.
Absolutely.
You trust them with the bag,
Absolutely.
right? Because you can't wash the bag and the plates and the pots and the pans, right? You trust them with the bag. Well, let's just say you had a camera, just because it was the security thing to do.
Right.
Just had a camera, just watching things. You just started, let me just watch some video. Because I thought we had a better night than the numbers are showing, right? I thought we had a better day than the numbers are showing. And sure enough, you look at the video and it shocks you. I mean, first it shocks you, then it hurts you. Then it makes you angry, because that was your man. And you see the dude literally.
Yep. Couple.
And first, when tears are coming, you shaking.
Right here.
You follow what I'm saying? I did not trusted you. You did me like that, right? I'm sorry, man. My fault, right? First of all, even if you forgive him and give him another chance, if you do, How soon will he be back on the register?
I don't think he'd be back on the register no more.
You understand? Now you see how she feels.
Okay.
So how do you get to be so self-righteous that you get to tell me I can't even question you about what I know you did? Mm-hmm. If I ask you the rest of your life, just say, nah, we good, man. I understand why you asked me. Because you caught me. I promise you I won't do that anymore. But I respect the fact that you need to ask because you need to have peace about it. You always going to be on edge when that dude in the store. Yeah. Hey, if he come, watch him. Don't let him in the back. Don't let him in the... You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. For you to do, she got to say, yeah, I know what he'll do. I know when he like... I know he like thongs or whatever. I know when he see a bikini, you know, he like them dark or whatever, right? Yeah. Right. He like the chocolates or whatever, or the vanillas. Right. Like how I know she was liking pictures. Like you have to understand when my behavior has caused this distrust, I don't get to put a time limit on when people leave it alone. Correct. It's kind of ridiculous that the person who violated is complaining about the length of time that the violation is a reminder, and I'm just saying, but if it happened to you, you would have the same concerns. Right. Because I'm vested. I put my heart back into you again. I need to know that I'm not being stupid. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Because it would be stupid to put the man back on the register without accountability. Mm-hmm. Right? And I'm saying, you saying he wouldn't even be back on the register.
Not at all.
There you go. Yeah,
I appreciate you sitting down and talking with me today. You know, for insight. You let them know exactly where they can find the book: Barnes and Nobles, Amazon, any other places.
But you can get it on iBooks, Nook, Kindle, Audible. If you see me on the street, you can get it out of my trunk. Yeah. First Baptist Church of Glen Arden here sells it in there. Both of their locations. Zion Church sells them. Yeah, but support it. I mean, it's a great book.
Absolutely.
It's a great book. I'm not just saying it because I wrote it. I just believe the content in it can be very helpful to somebody.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate it.
For sure, man.
Thanks a bunch.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.